More and more people are wondering if there's a really health crisis going on out there and if it's really worth it to listen to what the official organisms are telling us, that we have to be locked down, whether this is what it how it's supposed to be like. And it's normal because more people are waking up, trying to research what is all of this about. Why are we in the 21st century still facing these kind of situations when we are supposedly more technologically advanced? And I already made a video before talking about why COVID-19 is not really a health crisis. It has something more. There's something more behind it, which is clear, which this something more I'm going to mention in this video. What is going on behind the news outlets about COVID-19, about the vaccines, about how our economy has been destroyed in a matter of months? How are we facing the worst recession in decades? Not even in the Second World War, there wasn't even such a recession for some countries, I mean. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you the main media outlets that I've been reading so far about COVID-19. And these outlets, these headlines from these outlets basically describe the way society is behaving right now. So hundreds of Spaniards march against government despite social distancing rules. The far-right party Vox has encouraged a protester which is phrased and has made clear that it is not organizing them. So, okay, like I said, I'm not going to be basically standing for a party here. I'm just gonna comment the events that are taking place. So Spain. So we have seen that and heard that Spain has been the most deadly place per million inhabitants in the world in terms of COVID-19 letalities. Like I said, I don't believe in the official statistics of the deaths of the COVID-19 simply because, like I said, I don't. As I said before, that I don't believe in not even the number of infected. It's obvious because people are dying every year, whether it's a normal flu, whether it's some other infection, and people die every single year. So what is all this fuss about? What is this COVID-19 all about? So this is Spain. Let's get going on. So while protests break out in Chile, this is South America, over COVID-19 lockdown food shortages. So here we are already seeing that people are protesting for economic purposes. Well, not even economic purposes. These are survival purposes because food shortages are taking place, and not just in socialist countries that when we are convinced all the time that socialism is all about food shortages. Like I said, I'm not defending socialism, but food shortages and economic problems are global right now. It doesn't matter if your country is capitalist, socialist, or any other economic model. This is from Deutsche Welle, anti-Asian racism on the rise in Germany. So here we're seeing another motive, race, division. So people now obviously are looking at the roots. So this virus came from China. So we have to now detest Asian people, which is, quite normal because people are trying to stay safe. But these are the consequences. I'm not justifying them. These are the consequences from the same source, protests against coronavirus in Germany. So we are seeing people are not being happy especially in the Western world. You can also take a look at what's going on in the United States of America. Basically, protests are taking place there as well. Donald Trump is being basically claimed to be responsible for every single nightmare that's going on there. Let alone the fact that the United States has lost around 30 million jobs in a matter of weeks. And especially with Donald Trump, where he is, an anti-liberal, anti-socialist. So even his economy has shown to be so weak against shocks like this. So this isn't really about which economic model you're using. This is all about the way this has been organized from day one and the consequences that we're trying to be achieved. So these are the overview on This is the overview on the media headlines, some of the media headlines. I'm going to post the sources down below so you can read in more detail if you're interested in any of these. Let's comment the so-called official statistics. Like I said, these official statistics, I don't buy them, but let's just take the case of Spain. Spain right now on the 23rd of May is protesting to demand that the government of Pedro Sanchez has to renounce, it has to leave the parliament. Their argument is that, the economy is in shambles, so many people have died, Spain had the worst response to this so-called health crisis, and people are fed up of being locked down. People are sick of not being able to work, to do basic activities outside. They have to respect the time zones. This is a nightmare. But why would they even bother demanding? Why would they bother basically to say Pedro Sanchez that he has to leave because of this crisis? There aren't many countries that have actually reacted well to this situation, if you see what I mean. Take a look at United States, for example. People are protesting there as well, and I'm sure many people would like Donald Trump to go there. So really, you won't find any political benefit to that. So let's take a look at these so-called statistics. As you can see, Spain is no longer the most lethal country in the world. It's Belgium right now. So Belgium has surpassed Spain for deaths per million by almost 200 people. And Belgium economically is doing much better than Spain, but we still have people in Spain protesting outside, causing chaos outside, which is what exactly is trying to be achieved. The whole purpose of this is to divide the society. I hope you're actually still seeing this. The whole purpose of this is not for safety. It's not to keep us safe from this infection, because this infection has proven to be bullshit. I'm sure many of you got sick of a flu this year, like in my case, and you got similar symptoms to the COVID-19 of, cough, some fever, and that's it. Every single year people die of diseases, infections. Why is this all mess? Don't you see that this is all bullshit and this is all planned up? Let's see what has this caused, this COVID-19 bullshit crisis, I call it. So how are we being divided right now? We are being divided by race. As you can see, anti-Asian division is taking place, like not only in the case of Germany, but this is global. Like, people don't want to even enter a Chinese shop anymore because they're afraid, the Chinese brought the virus, so, we should avoid them. This is number one. Then we have the political views. So in the case of Spain, the protests against the right against the left. So as we said, the right are trying to win some political advantage by ousting the Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez of Spain, because he has shown to be an incompetent, he hasn't handled the crisis well, so people want him out of the government. But as you can see, Belgium isn't being that, demanding, and they had more deaths than Spain already. It has surpassed Spain already. And Spain is not that far from Italy, United States, United Kingdom in terms of deaths per million. But like I said, I'm sure people are not going to be happy with their own government, which is normal. But what they're trying to achieve with this, the whole point of this, is to divide the society even more, so that the ones who have organized this COVID-19 crisis, they are hiding themselves even more behind this fog of race division, political views division, so that people don't see who the real responsible of all of this is. The governments are just out there to play their role. They aren't out there really to benefit the society. I mean, we are entering in a political debate here, but I obviously believe that the politicians do not fully serve the interests of the people. And finally, economic classes. So the rich most likely will remain rich because they have employed clever tactics in terms of saving their investments, earnings, They have probably acquired some assets, they have probably bought some stocks, which in the long term is going to make them richer, while the middle class or the low class are going to probably get much poorer. So this is going to divide the rich and the poor. There's going to be a bigger gap between the rich and the poor, especially after this crisis, which happened because of this so-called health crisis. Like I said, people don't want to see that COVID-19 is just a mechanism used to trigger this economic crisis. And this is why people do not really stop to think, why is this happening? They just want to react by instinct, demanding the government out, demanding their so-called liberties. But they don't want to see that all they're trying to do is simply divide us even more, so that it will be much harder for us to see who the real enemy is. So this was my overview. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I await your comments, your opinions, and I'll be posting some similar content next time soon. See you later. Click like, subscribe, and comment, of course. See you.